Hi. You won't believe what's just happened. Tell him.
Well, for starters, I'm not enjoying the slander in the comments here because I've been here for half an hour and Ronnie's been here pretty much the same amount of time as well. Here's what's happening. Jaden's getting the cakes in.
I'm going to tell him. Literally, we have been speaking, me and Steve, for about 10 minutes, I'd say. Almost 10 minutes, and we weren't live. We thought we were live, had a 10-minute conversation. So the comments aren't responding.
The comments aren't really getting involved with us. What's going on?
Which is very not on brand. Extra Files is very much a podcast between me, Steve, and the comments. Do you know what I mean? And no one was saying anything. And now, we literally had an 8-minute conversation and just went, wait.
Like, dropped some great one-liners.
lines.
And the comments are just blanking us and we're like, lads, we're better than this.
I swear, look, we're not even lying. They're going to think we're chatting shit, but we're actually lying. We're not lying. But
we have to do all that again.
We're going to have to do... Basically, what you did miss was, we mentioned what the title was, so we said, big changes coming to Jim Ratcliffe, and then you was like, is that Amanda Staveley? And then...
Yeah, why is Amanda Staveley on the thumbnail?
So why is Amanda Staveley on the thumbnail? And then you said that she looks like...
She looks like Chucky.
Chucky.
From Chucky, or Bride of Chucky.
Chucky, do you reckon? And then he thinks that she looks more like Chucky than Diego Forlan.
She looks like Diego Forlan. Diego Forlan's got a slender face.
I see a Diego Forlan. But to be fair, I think...
She's got a right big head.
I think Amanda Staveley's jaw...
Her head might be bigger than Ash's.
I think her jawline is a little bit more chiseled than Forlan's, maybe.
Chiseled?
That might be the difference. Yeah.
Looks like she's borrowed it off Jocko Willink.
It's a strong one there.
Abhinav says, when you say Chucky, do you mean the doll from Child's Play? Yeah. Not Brian McClare.
That's exactly who you meant. Because I thought you meant Chucky. That's when you said it initially. That's why I was confused. But then you meant Chucky, the actual
Chucky,
bride.
Yeah.
But why? But let's talk about why we're actually speaking about this woman.
Right, go on here.
So she's co-owner of Newcastle, and Matt Lawton, who is a chief sports correspondent at the Times. So he's not a bell.
Right. Go on, but you tell me what's going on, but I need to see why this is trending, because if this is trending for the reason I think it is.
Oh, that's right. So basically, as Daniel Berry's already said in the comments, Sir Jim Ratcliffe has met up with Amanda Staveley face to face to try and iron out an agreement on finally getting Dan Ashworth, because as we've seen, Newcastle are being extremely difficult when it comes to Dan Ashworth, which I said to Steve isn't very surprising, because I think their fans and as a club, they wanted to kind of fast track to being a big club again after they got the Saudi Arabian money. And you can tell how they tried to form a forced rivalry with us, a lot of the fans as well.
Yeah, I mean, the fans are so frustrating because it's like their first day on the internet. It's like they've never come across... They only ever have to deal with banter from Sunderland fans, right? Which I can't imagine is very imaginative, right? Or good, or cutting, or entertaining. Just shit. Like, it's just shit. Like, Sunderland fans just would not bother me if I was trying to, like, have any sort of beef with them or anything like that. What?
It's because we got
Ethan's behind the camera trying to do a cry thing. Are you crying because you're losing Dan Ashworth?
You're the one crying.
I don't look like I'm crying though.
It's all right, man. We don't have an £80 million signing that hasn't played for about 12 months and probably might never play again because he loves a little bit of a gamble like Ladbrokes. Do you know what I mean? So fair enough. At least he's playing.
Anyway, yeah, so like Newcastle fans have been trying to force this rivalry between us. It all kicked off about a year ago, wasn't it? When I had the audacity to call United and Newcastle. And then they had a flag which literally covered their entire stand, which said, "We are Newcastle." What new maggots?
Yeah, because there's a few fan bases that are on Steve's case. There's loads, but like the ones that get onto the most is probably Newcastle and Liverpool fans, from what I've seen, are the ones that I probably got onto the most.
Yeah, City fans don't because there's like 12 of them.
12 of them,
like,
yeah.
Newcastle fans do, and they've got nothing. And it's hilarious because I get Newcastle fans from all over the country telling me that I'm a Glory supporting United fan, that's not from Manchester, but I'm from Manchester. Like, it's weird. Like, they're throwing out memes from the 90s, I think, because that's like, is that their latest books that they've just got in Newcastle or something? I don't know how it works up in Newcastle. I mean, the education system's clearly flawed looking at the state of Ethan. I can only presume. But yeah, like, Geordies are a weird bunch. Like, they've got nothing. Like, the thing that they hold on to is Shearer turned you down, right? He did. Shearer turned us down. And I reckon it's the biggest regret of his career. It's got to be.
Probably.
Because what did Shearer win afterwards? Oh, ask me. Nothing. Right? What did United win afterwards? Oh, everything. Multiple times.
Nah, exactly. But he's top scorer though. Anyway, he's got that with him. I think that's his biggest achievement and Newcastle's in the past. When's the last time you won a trophy? Is it 70 years? 69 years.
Nice.
Yeah, 69 years of getting fucked.
And then you go, you know, this whole thing about Newcastle is like, they want to go on about what United spent and how poor them and this, that and other. They outspent United in the 90s. They were moneybags. Newcastle throwing mad dough around for the likes of Shearer, world record fee, Les Ferdinand, Asprilla.
Exactly. And at this moment, because if you bring it back to Dan Ashworth and that, they brought in Dan Ashworth from Brighton in a way to kind of, they wanted to formulate this perfect backroom staff and do it properly because he couldn't splash the cash completely because of FFP. I think they're in a little bit of trouble with that as it is, and they might have to sell one of their big Galactical signings they've already made. So I think it's going to pee him off a little bit that United just come on, big bro them, as I would say, and then said, Dan Ashworth, come over here. And he couldn't wait to say yes. I think it's a little bit better coming to live in Manchester though than Newcastle.
You got to think as well, man, Newcastle did this to Brighton. Like, Newcastle can't get their knickers in a twist. Like, you can't start charging transfer fees for executives.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's just bitterness, isn't it?
1,000,000%. Like, did Brighton do this to you when you yanked him from them? No. So why are you like acting all butthurt about an executive trying to leave?
I think Brighton have more belief in their ability to kind of like adapt and rejuvenate almost.
Look, it's not ideal, man.
Yeah.
Like, losing backroom people to your rivals is not ideal. But you could argue, like, Brighton were in a better position than Newcastle when he left. You know, United are still in a better position than Newcastle now. Like, and you know, are an infinitely bigger club, and his work will be infinitely more recognisable on a bigger stage than just, you know, 3 postcodes in South Scotland. So
I do feel you, but because I'll ask you about this. MUFC versus everybody in the comments says, I worry that Ashworth's delay is already hindering our summer plans, as you really should be making contacts now with other clubs. Do you think because of the Omar Barada gardening leave, the Dan Ashworth delays, do you reckon that would have a bit of an effect on our summer?
On 2 things, right? Patience is a virtue, and if we can't get it done this summer because of the circumstances of everything that's happened, then we can't get it done. You can't force these things. And I'd rather we take our time and make correct decisions than rush into bad ones. But on the other hand as well, do you not think that they'll have WhatsApp? you don't need, like, work from home got made real popular about 4 years ago, right? Don't ask. Is that legal? Don't ask Laetitia why. No, it's not. But how many times do people do something that's a little bit? It's only legal if you say legal. He's not going to jail for it. Like, Newcastle might be able to sue if they could prove he was working for Manchester United. But are you telling me that he's not been on a Zoom call?
Probably.
You know what I mean? There'll be assistants and lower level executives where they go, right, or maybe Sir Jim himself, because he looks like he's pretty hands on, because he was obviously doing a face to face
with Amanda
with Chucky. So, like, I think the likes of Barada, the likes of Dan Ashworth, they can have Zoom calls, you know, that maybe they're not telling the world about, where they can have conversations. I think we should do this. I think we should do that. You can't tell me they're just going to be like, oh, I'm not allowed to talk about work for another 11 months. Not a chance that's going to happen. No, they're going to hit the ground running because they're going to have been working. Everyone does it, man. When you're leaving one job and you're on your way to another one, you already know where you're going. You work and you notice. Let's be honest, you ain't going full tilt, are you? Right? And like Ben's coming in later for the podcast. He worked in a particular area in banking. Wasn't one of the ones that Footy Economy. It was literally, you know, one level up from the cashiers on the desk. But he was selling product. So things like mortgages or insurances and things like that. So he was selling products at the bank. But because he was selling product, you're classed as a salesman in a way. When you leave and he left, they put him on 12-month notice because they don't want you to take all that database and stuff with you. So they just boshed him off on notice. And he was on gardening leave for like a year with it. It happens. It happens in loads of industries all the time. But you can't tell me that you just don't sit there already thinking about your next job.
Yeah, the Mark says, to be fair, they did have to pay Brighton for Ashworth. We're not expecting to get him for free. We're expecting to pay some sort of compensation, but
don't take the piss.
It's the fees that are being touted about that are ridiculous.
Didn't they pay a year's salary for him?
Something like that.
So why are we paying millions? Like 10 millions?
It's like a transfer fee was like 10, 15 mil or something they're trying to get. Absolute joke. Especially in the current circumstances where we're not going to be like, where FFP is a little bit difficult, even though Swedish Rumble, who's our guy, kind of has put out a few reports saying that United are actually in a better financial situation going to some of them people may think. But it depends if he's actually correct or not, because you don't know if he's going to be bang on.
Wait till we sell the back of the fucking shorts to Ineos for just market value of like, I don't know, 400 billion.
You're allowed to do that?
I think if you can prove its market value. Mate, City sold the naming rights to Etihad for more than they bought the club for within a couple of years of buying the club. Make that make sense. Make that make sense.
And that's why City have 116 charges looming over.
They got another one. They pick up an extra one.
There was an extra one somewhere.
Was their 116th charge their pre-match attire the other night?
That's one. That is one of them.
Needs to be
that was
charges, doesn't it?
It was like Varsity.
They're sponsored by D Squared, aren't they? So it's like a D Squared thing. But you can't look at that.
They look like
and tell me that when you see United rocking them suits that we wear on European trips, you can't buy class.
You can't actually, because I'm one of them people, like, I don't get into the whole like boomer, what's he wearing? You know, that kind of thing. What's he wearing? I'm not a boomer like that.
But the suits look dope.
But I thought Champions League quarter final, away at the Bernabeu. What's wrong with wearing something smart, club tracksuit or a suit? Why did they rock up like they're on the way to a lacrosse game or in American high school or something like that? It looked a bit like a frat club, innit?
You can't buy class. United, I'll give United that, something they've stuck to. And obviously they make the youngsters wear it in the FA Youth Cup as well. It's setting that sort of standard, in it. Like, you come to games, you rock it. Like for the league games, you saw Casemiro arriving at the ground the other day. He's wearing a tracksuit, it's fine. But like for European games, United always rock the blazer and the shirt and tie, and I think you should. And I think it looks so fucking cool. And I'd be wounded if that disappeared. That, along with the academy record, are things that they separate us from these lottery-winning clubs, like City.
What word don't you like, Glenn Buckley? What word? What word didn't you like, mate?
Charges.
I don't know what
Corruption.
word. Corruption. Anyway, I don't know.
Got a £1 million watch.
Yeah, he was wearing a Richard Mille at Bernabeu, £1 million, and obviously he wouldn't have bought that. He wouldn't have, would he? He's definitely been given.
Don't know. I mean, they give his brother a fucking football club, so.
Oh, is that the Drona? What do you reckon? Where are they from again? The owners of City, Abu Dhabi. I wonder if he's been Pep.
If he's been,
yeah, he must have been.
Because
I'm trying to imagine what he'd get treated like over there.
Like one of the guys running the gaff, I reckon.
Because they treat people insane over there if you're decent. Because obviously I haven't a mate of a mate who I do know, Elliot, plays in the Saudi Arabian league, and I think he plays in the second division or top second division club or whatever. And he says, like, when you play football over there and you're a foreigner and you're just playing decent with a club, he said they treat you like absolute royalty.
Did you see one of the, I think it was one of the Al Hilal players got whipped yesterday?
Yeah, I've seen that.
What the
How's he got that in?
Mate, I can't get a lid on a lilt, right? Meanwhile, my guy's pulling out an Indiana Jones number. Whoosh.
I'm not going to lie to you. To be fair, would have got it in it, but I feel like
an FBO for that.
I feel like there'd been serious repercussions if there was if the ethnicity was different of the person that he was doing that to.
But I'm going to be honest with you, right? That's not your first whipping. I don't think you go.
If you walk around with a whip willy-nilly, that means he's into some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you go, I'm going to bust out my first ever gadoosh on someone in a football stadium. I reckon he's walking around just whipping random people. It's not your first. Is it your fifth? Is it your 25th? Do you know what I mean? I think that's an experienced whipper that's done that.
That might just be his kink.
It might be his kink, but like you can't do that shit.
You can't.
I can't even have a fucking lid on my lilt.
It was a bit. Nah,
my guys out here just fucking.
Do you not think it was a bit brave though from the players? Because when he whipped the whip out, some of the players were like, "Yeah, we're going after him." But I feel like are they the type of guys that you want to go after?
This is what I'm saying. Like, do you like what the fuck?
Do you know what I mean? 'Cause
what the fuck?
These some of them are above the law. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, but
mad that, you know.
It's someone said he was using a belt.
I don't think it was. I think it was a fucking like Indiana Jones 5.0 ring.
And you're saying how did he get it in? I feel like he could get in with anything really. Because I don't think they drink. You're not allowed to drink definitely.
I wouldn't think so. No.
Definitely not in Saudi because you can't drink in English. Can you?
Not in. I don't know where it ends. I don't know if it's in all top flight or if it's just all like pro football or like if it's National League down you can drink because you can drink in non-league.
Yeah.
So I don't know where it ends. Does it end at League 2 or does it end at the Prem? There's a load of stupid rules, man. I saw some well cool stuff from Eastern Europe this week. We've said this on here so many times about pyro. Like the entire end was on fire. And you're like, surely there's 3,000 people in hospital from this because it looks absolutely wild. Meanwhile, you can't do fucking anything in an English stadium because it's illegal.
Yeah, it's all about safety and that though. But yeah, National League, no, if you can. National League, non-league games are so good though. I need to start going to more. A lot of time, obviously, you play on Saturday, but I've been to a few.
That's
to watch
the issue. They
actually are pretty good.
They have an occasional Monday or Tuesday night, I don't know, but that's it really.
They're pretty good.
He's had a good season, hasn't he? He's in the running for Player of the Year.
Yeah, he's been top, man. He's been top.
I mean, he's come training, 2-3 times this season with us.
He's gone to a different sharpness.
Yeah,
we're talking about someone who was a top academy prospect though. He wasn't just academy. It was the top.
He was Sancho like the year before Sancho, wasn't he? In terms of the hype that was coming out. What was his nickname? The Bullet or something mad like that?
Yeah, but we still all say as friends though that Thingy has the most talent out of us all. Akira. But it just happens. But anyway, for Super Chat though, because I was confused reading it. Can you read that out? Because I don't know.
Someone's wrote lyrics to "I'm Heads Gone Till I Die" basically. So with a Super Chat, thank you. Heads Gone Till I Die. There should be another episode out at 5 tonight. I don't think we spoke about football for 1 second in it off the top of my head. Can you remember?
Nah, I don't think you did. Because it's the type of thing where when you're watching that, it's like when does the football stuff start? But like I feel like that's what makes a podcast great. Because when I first looked at Amanda Staveley, I looked at her and thought, yeah, is she a billionaire? Is she a millionaire? Because she does look like the typical adrenochrome merchant. So she does. I think they all do it. I've said that on many Extreme Files. You can look baffled. Okay. You can say allegedly. But yeah, I think adrenochrome might be right up her street.
Anyway, someone before said 2 p.m. open show tomorrow. Yeah, 2 p.m. open show tomorrow. If you're in the area, come and watch. It's free of charge. Come and watch a game. Should be a tasty one. This is a game that was called off. Was it about October last year? October last year, something like that. Yeah, we had Gav going on a mad one. We're 2-0 up, 20 minutes. It's a team we'd never beaten. And then we are 2-0 up. Everything is going perfect. Like the way they're attacking is getting dealt with. Every time we go forward, we're having a shot. We look dangerous. Gav has a bit of a to-do with one of their centre-halves. And then decides, I don't even know if the ball's in the same shot. He just decides to just steam at him and 2-foot him. And then he gets a red card. There wasn't even a brawl. There was literally no other punch. There was no punches thrown, actually. It was like, he's done that. Everyone gathers round in that little bit of a group. It wasn't even handbags. It was just like... And then the referee kind of shot himself and decided to fucking run away. And abandon the game.
I got a bite. I wouldn't like to ref at this level anyway, so I wouldn't say it. But anyway,
neither did he.
Can already say it.
By the way, as well, right? So this is a ref that 2 minutes into the game, did we score? Did we score from it, or did we have a shot from it where he called Kieran offside from goal kick? I can't remember what happened to it, but basically we've had we've kicked off and they tried to squeeze us. It was a real small pitch and we've doshed it over the halfway line. Kieran's latched onto it. Ref's blown for offside. You're not offside from a goal kick. They claim for it and the ref give it. And then even the opposition players was like, yo, it's wild that you don't know the rules. As my lads have like, heads have fell off, like, I can't believe you've called that. You can't be offside from a goal kick. The amount of people who don't know that is frightening. So anyway, he's given offside, and then 5 minutes later, people are still having him off.
But you need to think about the fact that I tell you, it's rules. There's obviously a lot of subtle rules in football that are like so rarely happen that it's easy for people not to know them. Like the refs obviously should know. The refs obviously, because you obviously got to study the laws, but why is not a lot of people aren't going to know that you can't be offside from a goal kick, because very rarely does a goal kick get fired that long where it goes through to a player that was stood up in an offside position. That might happen once in a game every.
City did a few first season of Ederson, I think, didn't they? Because Ederson's got a right dig on him. I think City did a couple to Ederson first season, and then people wised up a little bit. It's a good tool to have in your locker as well sometimes, just to fucking smack it long like that, because then all that happens is the defence sits off another 10-15 yards, gives you more space in midfield. So I like doing it just for those.
You got to have a keeper for that though as well. But by the way, I'm going to read your super chat, but there's also something else that I want to ask you about. But Robert, why does no one ever have like a name that's just easy? I feel like every time that I read someone's name on a super chat, it's like a test of how to pronounce one of the names. Robert Alayore. You think United would accept donations as a contribution
Ronaldo, just asking why people don't have normal
to
names,
a new stadium development if fans that donated could be honoured in some way?
Do you think United would accept donations as a contribution to a new stadium or redevelopment if fans donated? Maybe. Yeah, I think so. They probably would, but the whole thing of United have that many fans if you totaled it. But I just feel like they probably could do it without, to be honest. I think they've got enough money in the bank. But something that I did want to talk to you about is, and I'm surprised we've not spoke about it yet, is Liverpool. You watched Liverpool last night? You actually watched the game? Or because I know we're all excited about the result. Because I know Notch and that was watching it, because the group chat I'm in with some of the paddock members, and it seemed like all them lot was watching them. But I think I said this to you before I went home yesterday, and I think someone said to me, like, what game are you watching? I was like, I am watching Leverkusen, mate. I can't wait to watch Leverkusen today.
I expected Liverpool to win, so I wasn't interested in the game.
You're watching Liverpool win?
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I thought they went. At home, they're usually really good.
I wanted to watch Leverkusen to see what the hype was about with Bayern Leverkusen and how good they've been, because...
And it's real.
And it's real. Like, Leverkusen... West Ham, bearing in mind, are 7th in the Premier League, and I'm not going to lie to you, Leverkusen yesterday made them look like a championship club in comparison to like quality and structure and tactics and everything. So, and it's the way that Moyes set them up to play them as if they were playing against like a prime Man City, you know, with the whole
Why is the camera on me, Jay?
with like the double low block. But I'm not going to lie to you, the hype about Leverkusen and Xabi Alonso looked real to me when I watched them against West Ham yesterday.
It's the amount of controlling games, because even though West Ham were trying to break through Kudus, and it was like that only
and
option.
Antonio was dangerous a bit.
But realistically, it was a one-up punt. Let's see what we can get out of this and try and relieve a little bit of pressure. But it was like... It was not. There was no threat in it. They was just dealing with it, and they were dealing with it easy as well. They was just so unruffled for the entire game. And then it was getting late on, but it was like 80th minute or something like that, they got the first.
Yeah.
And then like 88 or something like that when they pulled the second one out. But even then, there was no panic in the game. They weren't like, oh shit, we need to get a goal here. There was no panic. It was just control. And the goal was a mad one, because like the entire both 11s was in the box pretty much. And to smack it and get it through there, he's done well to do that.
No, he definitely has. He almost hit it off his shin as well, but it was a great effort. But also you got Bonifaz that come off the bench, and he was like flying before he got injured. And they've got Patrick Schick. They've got some ballers, Florian Wirtz. He looked as good as advertised yesterday. But as Knight said, Palacios is someone that I didn't mention to see earlier that I thought was really good, because he's
the midfielder is two like North London rejects.
Who's it?
Xhaka and Palacios.
Xhaka and Palacios. Is it that Palacios? Was
it Spurs?
No, I'm not sure if that Palacios was at Spurs. Correct me if I'm wrong. You sometimes you went in that. And Daniel Berry, I completely disagree. I thought they completely dominated the game, controlled the game, and the only reason why...
No, it wasn't. He got him straight from
Yeah, the only reason why you're saying they weren't impressive was because David Moyes put 24 men behind the ball and just sat on the edge of their box.
They had 32, 33 shots and West Ham had 1.
Yeah, and goals from set pieces still count. They're still goals, huh?
1. If you're in a game, right, from a manager, right, if I set us up tomorrow and we have 33 shots and the opposition have 1, I'm walking away giving myself a 10 out of 10. That's it. That's all a manager's job is to do, is maximise how we create chances. I can't finish them for you, and minimise the chances that we do create. Now, you can lose that game 1-0. Yeah. You can have 33 shots that all miss or get saved and lose 1-0. They obviously didn't do that, but they completely dominated the game. It was a masterful performance. That's 42 games this season with no defeat.
Exactly, because you still will be critical. You'll be honest about what you've seen, and I'll be honest what I saw. And I've not watched them for a full game much, to be fair. So I watched them yesterday against a Premier League side, and then I thought
4 or 5 full 90s, and quite a lot of highlights. Quite a lot of highlights actually, and a lot of analysis on them because I am well interested in. We spoke about it, and when we have a kitchen sink formation at Paddock where it's like, shit, we're behind, or we need to go and get a winner, and it actually looks a lot like the 3-2-5 that Leverkusen sort of deploy.
Exactly, but like as you said, you were impressed with how they use possession. I think we've seen over years of watching football how difficult it is to create a plethora of chances if that's what you wanted against a team that's got 10 people still on the edge of the box. It's difficult. Do you know what I mean? And if you actually looked at touches in the box and stuff like that, saying that you were impressed with how they use possessions, interesting, because they managed to get into the box at will. Do you know what I mean? Quite a lot. They got
West Ham was all in the box.
When West Ham were all in the box because they were cute with their
people forget that.
Yeah, they were cute with their passes and stuff and all that. And you can always say, like, be a bit of a perfectionist, etc. But I thought they were impressive. And to be fair, maybe if I think if West Ham were a bit more expansive, they probably would have got completely opened up. Because at the end of the day, Leverkusen still had like 34 shots in the game. Do you know what I mean? So with players that are on the same type of contracts or probably ain't the same calibre as some of the West Ham players.
Yeah, I bet budget-wise.
They look worlds apart to me. And I don't know, because Thingy's going to stay Xabi Alonso, do you reckon they'll keep some of their better players?
Very, very interesting time now. I bet the Leverkusen execs are screwing because they're like, everyone wants to be successful.
It's not hype. It's not hype. They're literally unbeaten all season. That's not hype. That's factual. Can't say hype. It can't be hype if they're actually unbeaten all season. Do you know what I mean? You can't do that through hype.
Like,
anyway.
I think Arsenal have been the best team in the Premier League this year, right? Factually, Bayern Munich just held them, and Bayern Munich are miles behind this Leverkusen team.
Yeah, who've beaten them? Twice.
You would be quite correct in saying that I think Leverkusen are the best team in Europe this year.
Yeah.
And I think you'd have a case to argue that they are.
Yeah. I'd agree.
Okay, they're playing in the second tier competition, but who beats them?
Yeah. I'm not sure, because also they're really good. Their counter press is really good as well. You see what they like, how aggressive they are when they lose the ball. Now, I was impressed, man. I think
structurally they're absolutely wicked. Now, the interesting thing will be, obviously, when you become champions, you have a target on your back. And ask Jurgen Klopp, retaining a trophy is really hard. So, can they? If he can go back-to-back titles in the Bundesliga, and even if he only gets to quarters or semis with this Leverkusen side, that's insane. Well, you've also got this is where, like I said, the board are really important here now, because they'll probably get like a big influx of cash for the Champions League and for winning the league, and for if they win Europa League. Like, they're probably going to get a big influx of cash. They'll probably get some new sponsors. Is the temptation from them to go away from what got them to the dance and maybe, we need a superstar signing now? He doesn't actually need to improve that much. It's just depth.
I think it's depth. And probably adds a bit of quality. The thing is, when you got a club like this that spawns to like be top class out of nowhere, a lot of the players shine and they get moves from it and they go up. Yeah. But if Leverkusen manage to keep him and add to the quality, because obviously they've got Champions League next season, so that makes them a bit more, or they recruit really well and they keep Xabi Alonso, they could be really good, because
he's agreed another year, right?
Yeah.
I said to him last night that it smells like he's going Madrid to me. So is it Ancelotti's got another year? He's going to walk away, or his contract's up in 2025, something like that. Come on, man.
Yeah, it probably is waiting for Madrid.
Do you know what might be quite telling? I don't think it plays a slightly different position, but it'd be interesting to see if like Wirtz goes to Real Madrid this season for like 120 mil, something absolutely bonkers like that, and it's almost like a FIFA manager next year.
I think Wirtz stays. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, man. Sometimes fast tracking's got. I would like to see more teams. I know it doesn't happen because your players get nicked and your manager get nicked. But I would like teams like Leverkusen to like do what they do and then they build on it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Leicester, man.
Stay.
Leicester get picked apart. They lost Kante, they lost Mahrez, they lost a handful of their players, didn't they? And then that's you fucking dusted. Look at Brighton, they get a bit of a run going together, then your entire midfield just gets fucking pulled to pieces. Like, it happens all the time. It used to happen to Spurs all the time. The Spurs have had some right teams back. Think about 10, 15 years ago when Spurs was just about edging into Champions League. They had some fucking unbelievable teams, but then they would lose their better players. They lose the likes of Bale, they lose the likes of Berbatov. They lose Modric. They're losing all of these players to big clubs and stuff like that. So it's like it would be nice to see a new team just pop up, especially somewhere like Germany, like where it has been so Bayern centric for so long. If another team like Leverkusen could come in and not just dominate in Germany, but also do something different on the international stage as well. I mean, Xabi Alonso is coach of the year this year, and it's not even close. Even if he just wins the Bundesliga now, he's still coach of the year because no one else wins the Bundesliga. So really interesting to see what his next step is. Yeah. Really interesting to see how Leverkusen go next year with him being there. And you never know, you might convince him to come back for another third one. Yeah, 100%. And you know what this also takes me on to, because we're talking about how they made West Ham look. And this is also something I want the comments to give me a little bit of an opinion on as well. And that's, so the only Premier League side to get a result in Europe this week was Aston Villa, and they nicked a 2-1 against Lille. And there's been a lot of discourse, and it quite often is in Europe when Premier League clubs have weeks like this, is do we as Premier League watchers overrate some of the Premier League clubs and the Premier League in general in comparison to the other top-ish clubs in other leagues? Yeah.
Because I think what I've seen is a lot of the foreign league watchers have jumped on and piled on and said the Premier League is a little bit overrated by its fans, and some of the Premier League clubs are, and they also feel like Premier League watchers heavily disrespect the top clubs or the other clubs in the other leagues.
There's a good explanation for this. You've got the top three probably in the Premier League are three of probably the best 6 in the world.
Probably.
Then you've got the likes of Villa, United, Spurs, Newcastle, Brighton, which would probably be on par with teams that are coming second.
That's what people argue if they disagree with that. So the Premier League watchers will say, like, Villa will try and push a notion that the likes of Villa, Newcastle, etc. would win off, come second in like the Bundesliga or League One or Portuguese league.
But the difference is it's where the bottom of the leagues are. So like the bottom of La Liga is like mid-championship level. It's like it's way below the bottom of the Premier League. And like the bottom of Serie A is way below the bottom of the Premier League. Like there's a lot of parity at the top. Paris Saint-Germain would be a problem in England the way Liverpool and Arsenal would be an absolute problem and dominate in France. Atletico Madrid would be a fucking problem in the Premier League. The same way Arsenal would be a problem in La Liga. Manchester City would be a problem in La Liga. Manchester City would be a problem. The top 1-2 teams in every league are a problem. Look at Leverkusen this year. They're a Europa League team. Just because Liverpool absolutely shit the bed and got completely fucking parcelled up by Atalanta, sometimes it happens.
Yeah, because there's an interesting thing from IR. He says, I think how competitive the Premier League actually hinders performances in Europe, where else there is a three-way title race or this many teams compete for Champions League midweek fixtures just as important as the weekend. I just think it's play style variety where it's very similar the way the game is, or every match is in the Premier League between the players. And I think sometimes you get a little bit more tactical variety or difference in play style when you play teams in Europe. And I think that's what sometimes can catch Premier League clubs out.
We've said this a few times, haven't we? Like the way everybody looks at the Championship, which is just an absolute knife fight. It's chaos. It's high energy. It's chaos, but it's lacking sometimes in that technical kind of brilliance. Well, the Premier League is basically the same speed as the Championship, but with better technique. So when you play against, if you had to make like and people will go, well, people's tactics and styles of play are different. They are different, but there is a general Spanish way of playing the game, right? That you're gonna see. I think you see more variation in styles. Like I don't think there's anyone trying to do it Burnley style in La Liga or Serie A.
You know what's, because what you said, because what you said about how poor the bottom of these leagues are. As a Premier League fan, I feel like it can be ignorant to say that because I don't ever watch Alaves so I don't know how good they are.
It's something like I think it was Opta Perform. I think it is the Opta Perform Twitter account.
I think you'll be surprised.
They've ranked every team. And I think they had City or Arsenal as the best rank in Europe in terms of like the level that they're playing at. And then it was a few paces down was like Real Madrid. Like all of the teams were pretty close at the top, but the Premier League was kind of weighted. The middle of the Premier League was kind of here. Because there was a mad shocking one, which was like Inter Miami were level with like a Luton or something like that. And I was like, don't know about that. Obviously they got some superstar names in there, but they've also got a bit of trash in the team as well. And you're like, I wonder where does that sort of balance out. It was really interesting. So they had this sort of explanation, which was the range. So the Championship, the top level teams in the Championship, so your Ipswich and your Leicesters, they are ranking above a lot of, 12 to 20 in every other league in the world. They're that good. There would be a mid-table finish in every top flight in the world. But then the bottom of the Championship was like below the top of like MLS. So there's a massive overlap of stuff.
Do you know what
ranges?
Do you know arguments being used? Someone that you did a scout report on about a year ago when he played for Coventry, and that was Gyökeres, right? So he had a great season in the Championship, but his goal scoring record wasn't anything ridiculous like Ivan Toney's or etc. And then he's got moved to Sporting Lisbon, top team in Portugal, and his goals and stats and output has exploded, and he's done better in the Portuguese league than he did in the Championship. And then sometimes people have used that to kind of figure out.
Yeah, I mean that's one way of doing it. But then you go, obviously, like he might just be in a team that's more suited to his style of play. Yeah, and like I said, maybe that the pace of those leagues being different, not necessarily slower, not necessarily faster, just different at times. Yeah, like I can't remember who it was that said it. I want to say it might have been, ironically, Diego Forlan. It was something like that. I think it was it was either a Spanish player or a player that had played in Spain and played in England. And he said the difference in England is like if you're playing for, let's say it was play for Atletico Madrid, you get 2-0 up at home against Elche, you're winning that game. He said after about 60 minutes, they're going to put whatever tactics out to see the game out at 2-0. He said, and no one gets their knickers in a twist about it. Whereas, if you're United and you get 2-0 up and you're playing Burnley's fans, the commentary and everyone is going to be like, you get back in the game or what? He goes, so you have this thing where the games are fucking 90 minutes and the intensity in Premier League games doesn't tend to drop off unless you're City and you get 6-0 up.
No, that is true. I do agree with that. And obviously I disagree with Knights who says Gyökeres physically dominates Portugal just like Darwin Núñez did. I think that league isn't unphysical because I watched Porto against Arsenal, and I think Porto were probably one of the most physical teams that Arsenal played against this season when it comes to physicality. So I think there's a bit of difference. I would honestly say he's one of the most physical teams I've seen play at all this season in terms of Porto. They were all pretty strong, physical and aggressive. So I think it's hard to say in it. I think the cross-league thing, sometimes it can be a little bit hard to judge.
Yeah, anyway, got a word from our sponsors, so go check this out. Right, then here we go. This is brought to you by the champions of the Spring Clean, Manscaped. You know, the time has come to sort out not just your carpets, but the drapes as well, with the top dogs in the below the belt tidying up. Chuck out the winter scruff with Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0. Watch your confidence sprout up like daffodils. Dive in to the season and be one of the 10 million lads globally trusting Manscaped. Head over to manscaped.com, bang in the code XG20, get yourself 20% off and free delivery. Ever since I had a go in Manscaped, I will tell you that I have been absolutely buzzing for the spring fever. Let me introduce you to the champ of the season, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. They've got these two swappable next-gen skin-safe blade heads, one for a tight trim, another a foil blade for when you fancy going smooth. It's got dual LEDs to help you navigate the best of your winter leftovers, tidy up with a little bit of a flair, I would say. Now, if you're not keen on cleaning up after, then this gem is waterproof, so you can use it in the shower, the bath. And I'm not lying to you when I tell you that this nifty tool is everywhere I go. It is in a handy compact case, and Spring Clean's not just for your bits and bobs. Manscaped has also got the Beard Hedger Pro Kit, the handyman electric face shaver for a full grooming job. Get yourself 20% off and free shipping with the code XG20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off, XG20 at manscaped.com.
We're back.
We are back.
Back, and also, now that you're back, I would like to also mention that Klopp legacy, a man that is, as he said out his own mouth, he's tired, isn't he? He's tired. And his last European game at home at Anfield, who's meant to be a fortress, by the way, he's
shagging.
He's losing.
Absolute shagging.
He's getting bent over by Atlanta.
You see the Anfield agenda crying after it last night? Grow up, you absolute sausage.
I tried to watch everything. I tried.
By the way, did you see? Right, so I only saw the highlights this morning because, like I said, I was watching the Leverkusen game. Did you see Van Dijk for the 3 goals? Do not you ever dare tell me he's the greatest Premier League defender. He's not even the greatest Dutch one. I don't even know if he's the greatest fucking Liverpool one.
His aura didn't work, did it?
He definitely tried to aura them out rather than actually going in and making a fucking tackle.
I'd put him behind Sammy Appiah. Something like that.
I put him above John Terry, I'll tell you that for free.
Oh, opinions on Scamacca. Oh, listen, I've been the biggest fan of Scamacca. And I was so annoyed that he went to West Ham and it worked out the way he did, because he never really got to show his true ability. Playing for Moyes apparently can be very difficult. He didn't really suit their style at all, and he's gone back to Atlanta and killed it again. And I think he just went to the wrong club.
It happens.
Do you know what I mean? And yesterday, Jamie Carragher and Liverpool, you put him in a spliff or in a panini.
Yeah, fucking hell. Like, for a manager, people go, managers need time to implement, right? Every single player that's wearing a Liverpool fucking badge at the moment, he's signed, right? Every single one of them. There's no one there that's been there longer than him. Was Robertson a signing of his?
I'm not sure. He's
pretty sure he signed every single one of the people that play for him. If not, it's an overwhelming 95+%, isn't it? So it's probably one player maybe. That is his club. Every player that plays for them, that is his club. And we got told what Erik ten Hag did in 9 months last year, coming third and winning the League Cup, wasn't good enough. And that's what Jurgen Klopp's going to do after 9 years. And supposedly the greatest manager with the best left back the Premier League's ever seen, allegedly. With the best centre half the Premier League's ever seen, allegedly.
He's been putting all time.
With the best right winger the fucking Premier League's ever seen, allegedly.
I know it's harsh, but I feel it might be harsh. Like, they've had some really good players.
Best goalkeeper they've ever seen, allegedly.
I don't think during the Klopp era,
best fans I've ever seen, allegedly.
They've actually not had enough Premier League titles within that era for a lot of those players to actually make the all-time 11.
I'm sickened by any fucking any 11, and I hate the Premier League 11. Someone has to shoehorn Steven Gerrard into it. Honestly, it's fucking ridiculous.
Because he didn't win the Premier League title. Do you know what I mean?
Not just that, he was like
but
that good.
But that's a very fair argument, though, because it's the same way in American sports. Like when it comes to like Hall of Fame and stuff like that, and all-time accolades. When you've not won a title, it heavily works against you. So do you know what I mean?
It should.
So, unfortunately.
Yeah, James says Klopp's had some sackable seasons. Right, I believe in the 9 years that he's been there, have we finished above him 4 times and him finished above us 5?
Maybe.
I think they've won 1 more trophy than us.
I don't know, man. Because
that time.
they've acted like it's been their best ever. Because he went a long time without winning the Premier League, innit?
Right. I saw this the other day, and I'm going to paraphrase it. I'm not going to get it right, but it was essentially like, Liverpool are going to enter a period now, like we did following our greatest ever manager, where they're going to struggle to replicate what Jurgen Klopp's done. So there's going to be some bleak times if they're not going to achieve
one title
in 34 years.
Listen, I know it's
they won it they didn't win it till June. They had to change the rules. There was extra subs. There was all sorts of bullshit brought in.
COVID title.
Honestly, we should have just fucking.
Do you think it was a bit?
Season.
Do you think
change the rules halfway through the season?
Do you think it was ironic that they won a COVID title, which is like a respiratory illness, when
the accusations
they had so many accusations of what they use? It's kind of hilarious, isn't it?
Funny. It was funny. I had that journalist on who come on and was like, Liverpool have just won a title, and he's like, they're not going to win it again. Watch. And everyone was like, mate, they've done they were a fucking impressive team when they did win it in June. And he was like, they're not going to win it again. That was a hell of a call, and fuck me, was he right?
Yeah, he was.
Someone saying Southgate to Liverpool. Unfortunately, I think we're going to be denied the hilarity that would be.
I would fucking love that.
Yeah.
I
would equally love it as much as I would hate it if it was United that got him.
I don't think Liverpool would do that, though.
Fucking funny if they did that.
Be funny, but I don't still think they would do it. I think Finger's capable of doing it if they sat Poch.
It's hammering, isn't it? It's hammering.
Yeah.
Hammering's going.
Do you reckon he put Southgate to Chelsea? Do you think Todd Bowler? I think that's not. He's not like.
Oh, do you know what? Yeah, maybe because I think he bought the hype on Poch.
Nah, I don't think. I think Todd Bowley likes to go a little bit sexier than Southgate.
I know, but I think if he reads the hype and he's like, people have been taking a piss out of my manager and Southgate, because people say things like Southgate's the best manager England have had in 70 years.
Yeah,
like
I'd say
60 fucking years.
It's true. I think they go Girona manager, Southgate, not Southgate, the Thiago Motta. But the thing is, the same way we say about players taking too big of a step, sometimes it's the same with gaffers. So I think
stick with Southgate. Yeah. He knows the league.
Yeah, he knows the league. But I think Thiago Motta's going Juve. That's what the most likely thing. So
that's a big move. I think. Yeah, it does. It's.
But when you're talking about the right club being a fit for you as a manager and player, obviously Thiago Motta before he's had this incredible season of changing Bologna from like fourth bottom to like being one of the best teams in Italy. I think he had a season before he was at Genoa where it just never didn't work. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes it's just about.
Fergie got sacked in his first ever job. Imagine being that guy. You're never going to make it as a manager. What?
It's how you respond to adversity.
I watched the Filthy Fellas episode with Ash on it. It's a good episode actually.
Yeah.
It's chaos on there, by the way.
Yeah, it's chaos.
But I watched the episode and.
Would you go on it?
I think it was Lippy. I'd go on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was Lippy was saying he thinks that midfielders and defenders make the best managers. I've just got one thing to say to you, Sir Alex Ferguson.
Where do you play?
Centre forward. Because that's the perception is centre forwards don't make good managers.
It's usually I'm thinking defenders, midfielders, defenders. Yeah, forwards very rarely make good managers, don't they? That is actually true because that's interesting.
I think Jose was a left back. Was it right? Something
yeah.
Like that.
Obviously, Pep was a CDM, weren't he?
Yes. Or defender, number 4, basically. Yeah. So yeah.
Klopp was a defender.
Yeah. Wenger was a defender.
Wenger was a defender.
But he was like a National League sort of level, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
One.
I think he was pretty low level as well. Klopp.
Johan Cruyff was a number 10 sort of attacking midfielder, forward sometimes, very attacking player. Koeman was a centre half.
Obviously Xavi's a midfielder. That's not worked. It's interesting.
Alonso centre mid.
Alonso. Where did De Zerbi play? Zidane's a 10 as well, though. Someone said Jose a goalkeeper.
Matt Busby's an inside forward. Was he an inside forward? I thought he was like a half back, is it they call it? A left half or right half or something. I heard Matt Busby was very similar to Carrick, like had a real good first touch on him and real nice pass. Wasn't like an aggressive midfielder, like a real sort of, probably ahead of his time.
Yeah, Carrick.
Matt Busby?
Yeah, true. Because Carrick's basically what Rodri is.
Couldn't do that now. By the way, could not do it. People are like, why would Xabi Alonso ever want to come Man United when he was a Liverpool guy? So, we've got one word for you. Matthew Busby. Played for City and Liverpool. And then made United the greatest football club in the world.
Okay. Oh yeah, Linux is getting on to me saying Xavi has not worked. Well, he's getting sacked, isn't it, basically? And it's not exactly been plain sailing. And you know what a lot of people said? I don't know if you. I watched the Barcelona PSG game, and people said that a lot of people at Tactical said they see a lot of resemblance to the way Barcelona play and the way United play, but also, do you know what I mean? And they see a lot of resemblance to the way that Real Madrid played against City to the way Ollie's United played, where it's like defend decently well, but like being so fucking incisive on the counter. On
United's third man runs under Ollie needs studying. But
Real Madrid they said Real Madrid's better at it though. They got
they got better players.
They got better players, innit?
I mean, oh my god. I was going to say, we was talking about this privately in the week, but I'll share it with you guys, see if anyone else is. I realised this week I fucking hate Barcelona.
Yeah, it's true. I'm also wrong.
I was watching a PSG game, and I've got no fucking love for PSG either. I couldn't give a fuck about either of them. But when Barcelona was like getting back into it, I was like, oh.
Oh, no, I need to clarify. I'm wrong, by the way. The comments, as always, have corrected me. Said that Xavi has decided to leave and he actually won a league last year, which it slipped my mind.
Ancelotti was a midfielder,
so he didn't get sacked.
Ancelotti's centre mid, right?
Yeah, I didn't know. So I was laughing at. But go on.
Laudrup, he was a winger.
Yeah.
Winger forward.
Inzaghi,
forward.
No, but that's not. It's a different Inzaghi. It's not because I was victim of thinking it was the striker Inzaghi that
there's two Inzaghis.
Are they both strikers?
Pretty sure they're both strikers. Yeah. Mm. Is it the hate for Barcelona or people running it? I think I'm gonna sort of paraphrase. This might have been a Jose phrase. Barcelona want you to think that they're all nice people doing everything like in a really clean, kind of pure sort of way, but they're really fucking bad for the game. I think. They're actually not the shining light of like fan ownership that you would want them to be. No, their fans are fucking horrible. The way the club is run is horrible. The way, like, look at the way they treated fucking players who want to leave. Look at the way they just jacked like 40 million off PK. They made all their players take wage cuts and shit like that. And then like, oh, did you want that money back? Well, yeah, you're not getting it.
La Masia's good though, isn't it though?
Is it though?
Well, they seem to have produced two players that are probably going to start for him for the next 15 years. All
right, cool. So it's nearly as good as Carrington.
Yamal and Cabot. Yeah, no, but Carrington's getting serious now. So that's the obviously if you follow Academy,
you're going to know soon about Shea Lacey.
Yeah. If you follow Academy Scoop, he's good, and he's actually predicted that we could see like one of the biggest kind of like academy influxes into a club over the next few years, where he predicts that United could actually have 4 or 5 academy graduates become first team squad members within the next 2 years.
Oh, you see Kai Rooney yesterday training with up the RH?
Well, yeah, I heard his voice straight away.
Have you fucking seen the size of him?
I was 14. I was like, what tall is he? Like, because Rooney's only like 5'10", isn't he? So
he does look taller.
Yeah, but usually what happens is, I think if you have a son, it probably goes about an inch taller than the dad, maybe. Do you know what I mean? So he's probably going to be like 5'11", 6 foot-ish.
Yeah, Brian Clough as a centre forward. Yeah, he's got to be an outlier, I reckon, in terms of how good he was, both as a forward and as a manager. Yeah, I mean, Kai Rooney looks like a problem. So yeah, I mean, you've got all the ones that are coming through before him, though.
Yeah, because obviously you got Ibrahimov, who's playing games for the 21s now and balling out, and then you've got Shea Lacey, who I think if it wasn't for the fact he'd been injured for 6 months,
yeah, you got Fletcher.
Would have been fast. Harry Mass has already been in the squad as a left back. Might be serious.
All of these lot won't make it, but some of them might. So it'll be interesting to see. And everyone that does saves us 40-50 mil. So
the same way Mainu has.
Yeah.
Mainu saved United quite a bit of money, especially in midfield. But you're saying some of them won't make it, some of them will. The thing is, what's got everyone excited is that there's like 3 or 4 of them that people are kind of nailed on to think, right, these will be.
The thing is, Tenen Mengi shouldn't have gone. Like, we fucked up so bad.
I see a lot of similarities between Tenen Mengi and Kambuala.
I think Mengi's got like an extra gear on his pace, though. There was some.
Because he plays well for Luton. Plays well for Luton.
There was some breakthrough counters that we had when Mengi was playing, where people was like, "Oh shit," and then had to really put the burners on to catch someone, and did, and he did it regular. Like, you want to play a high line? Teddy Mengi's like, yeah, sweet.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's the problem with having someone. Tuan Xabi was very similar to this. Unbelievable pace. I think he was a more natural defender, Tuan Xabi. One of the best I've ever seen as a natural defender. Just injuries just killed him.
And that's how they rated him as well. United rated Tuan Xabi so high. They do it. I feel like they said he was probably one of their best ever defenders come through the academy.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. There was some stuff that he was doing as a defender at 17 where you're thinking, fucking hell, this is a new Rio. Like, it's unbelievable. But injuries are real. But when you have someone so fast, and you know this, when people are like absolute ridiculously fast, they get hamstring problems. You know, if they're not looking after them properly, not doing the right strength and conditioning.
That's what has people concerned about the longevity of Van der Ven at Tottenham. Obviously, you already did a hamstring pull earlier, but he's like abnormally quick. Van der Ven is probably the fastest footballer in the world, not just defender, just the fastest footballer in total. And it's like how, when that goes for him, how's that going to work? And also, like, it's about his longevity with his hamstrings as well. But people are also concerned about lacing his height. Do you think his height's a problem? I think he's only about 5'7", isn't he?
He is a carbon copy, Phil Foden, just on the opposite side. If you can find a way that gets him into the team, you'll be fine, because he can play football. Yeah. He's just an absolute technician. And speaking of which, I just saw someone mention in the comments there, Ridwan says Angel Gomez is doing decent for Lille. I saw someone saying I think it was the coach from Lille, says he's the most intelligent player I've ever come across. Angel Gomez was always a footballer.
Yeah, he's a joke. I've been father size with Angel.
I can't imagine you even get close. I bet you can't even get within 5 yards of him.
Unbelievable.
Even if you ran at him.
That was his game, innit? That was his type of game as well. And Jared Harrington, before he retracted it, I saw it, so you can't run away from it. He said, "I'm 5'9" and my son is 6'6". Well, I might have some news for you, Jared.
How big's your milkman?
How big? So he knew that was coming. That's why he retracted it. Yeah.
I believe, and obviously there's outliers to this. Otherwise, you don't end up with like just some enormous people every now and then, because people do get genetic mutations and get really fucking large. Everyone's got like all people with blue eyes is because there was one guy in Estonia fucking thousands of years ago who had blue eyes and it just stuck around. So you do get genetic mutations, but the formula is meant to be you take the height of your dad and the height of your mum, and I think you add 2 inches for a boy, and you subtract 2 inches for a girl, and you get there or thereabouts with it.
Yeah, I think your son usually ends up about at least an inch or two taller than a dad. Not all the time, innit? But
depends
commonly.
on the height of the mum as well.
Yeah, all depends. Yeah,
if the mum's like 5'11" or 4'11" even, or even 5'11", even 5'11", yeah, and you're 6 foot something, your kid's gonna be fucking huge.
Yeah, nutrition. I always wondered how much nutrition. Like, I've always wondered, is your height set genetically,
or if you can feed you up,
or if like nutrition can impact your height,
get you in the lab
by a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, or whether your height has literally been decided at birth genetically. I've always confused.
Probably a little bit of both, because if you're malnourished, you might not hit what your potential was.
Yeah, HGH. Sorry, I was looking at HGH. Can you legally take that? It's just.
I think if you're predicted to be like completely undersized, a la Messi.
Okay.
Because obviously they give Messi medical HGH, didn't they?
I think that makes sense from Daniel, where it says your height is like been set, but you can end up short if your nutrition isn't up to scratch. So your nutrition helps you reach your maximum height.
Yeah, or you get HGH in you. So if you're serious about Project Mbappe,
well, not
the thing is, I think there's like Americans, they piss me off for a lot of reasons. But one of the reasons Americans piss me off is they go, "Oh, if we took football seriously, we'd be world champions like fucking immediately." Not necessarily.
Mad thing to say when so much of your audience is American. I'm so sorry, people. I'm so sorry.
It's the truth, right? Now, the Americans that are watching this, they're probably not the sort of that think that sort of shit. But when you have it's the ignorant Americans that don't watch football, that just assume, oh, if all of our best athletes, like, look, your best athletes are 400-pound fat dudes that have to work for 4 seconds in 4 hours in an NFL game. They're not playing football. There's probably an ideal height and weight and sort of like athleticism for a footballer. They're probably, realistically, especially now because of the academy system has sort of like sifted through the outliers. Your Angel Gomez's get fucked off, yeah? They don't, your Adama Traore's, they get fucked off. The sort of like ideal, I reckon it's about 6'1" for most players, 6'2", maybe 6'3" for a defender in football.
Oh, I had this conversation with Joe, that the average height for a footballer, especially at the top level, is probably taller than you think than when you watch them on the pitch. I reckon it's about, because every footballer that you see on the pitch is taller than you think they are in terms of how they're perceived. For example, if you see Luke Shaw in person, you'll think he's massive. Do you know what I mean? It's like when people think Kobe Mainoo's short when he really isn't. Do you know what I mean? He's quite big. Do you know what I mean? He's about 5'11". Do you know what I mean?
I think it varies.
But on TV, I used to think the same when I was an academy player at Oldham, and we used to see the first team a lot. They'd look a certain way on the pitch, like, and then say I'm walking. When I used to walk through the tunnel in League One, and I was already like fully grown, about 5'9", 5'10"ish, like nearly everyone was massive. Do you know what I mean?
That's also certain leagues in England. They select height over anything.
I think probably a bit.
I think if you're talking the very top, I think like 6'1's a great height for like your midfielder or a winger or a forward. I think that's a great height.
I think someone would disagree.
I
think 6'1s can be too tall for certain types of midfielders because there's certain heights that are short that actually helps people in low centre of gravity, ball manipulation, angles.
Not full Angel Gomez kind of level.
But yeah, anyway, how long have we been live, by the way?
Yeah, probably enough. Probably enough.
Let's get away.
Yeah, I think there's all sorts of stuff like that. But like Americans thinking just because if they're NBA players decided to play football that they'd be good. I don't think a 7-foot guy would be that great at football.
They love saying that because they do love the cost. They said if LeBron James played in the NFL as a tight end, he would have been the best tight end of all time. You don't know that, do you?
Look at that. Go down, Jay. Let's go up. Like Americans would dominate football. How? America has so many people. Of course, America would dominate, but
scroll up a little bit.
Would you though?
Ridiculous take. Yeah, no, I think La Masia, they have about 4 or 5 academy graduates in the squad currently, Barcelona. All of them are decent, so they have La Masia's helping them a little bit. And that Kabasi and Yamal look immense.
America has so many people because we're doing. Someone just put Olympics. What about the Olympics? You got to remember, yeah. Also, America doesn't do that much better. Like, look at Uruguay. Yeah, and by that logic, China and India should dominate football. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that in the slightest.
But anyway.
Yeah, right, let's wrap it up. Sin a bit.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.